Alright, so today's the cleanup day. So we're at the point where you guys have everything you need to have for the test on tomorrow. And this lesson is going to be really smooth and quick. I'm going to cover just a couple things about proportions, verbal sentences, etc. I'm going to do like a problem out of each section, and then you're on your own to do the rest. So the notes are really quick. So we're going to start off with proportions. Anytime you have a proportion, you are going to set up a ratio. So once you do that, you can cross multiply. And it says to make sure you use parentheses. I call cross multiplication like the butterfly method, because that's what mine looks like when I do it. And so, I do 2 times 10 equals 4 times x. 20 equals 4x. X equals 5. Pretty straightforward. The only time it gets kind of tricky is when you have to distribute. And let me go down here to number 10. I do the butterfly method. And so I have negative 2 times x minus 4 equals 3 times x plus 6. And I get negative 2x plus 8 equals 3x plus 18. And I'm not going to finish it from there. You guys know what to do. We've been doing this for a couple days. You should be able to know how to solve that problem from there. First part of your assignment is to finish all 11 of these. And then, we'll go over them in class. But, you should do all 11 of those. And then so go ahead and pause the video if you want. The second review topic that I have, actually, let's go ahead and talk about word problems with proportions. And remember, the key is to stay consistent. So whenever you see a word problem and they're trying to set a proportion, it says here, Hermie used 1 inch of clay for 5 miles of river. There's my first part. And I'll even write 1 inch, 5 miles. The next sentence says, the model river was 50 inches long. Well, it says 50 inches, so I know that goes on top. And it says, how long is the river? Well, I know that means miles. I cross multiply. I get 1x equals 250. So the river is 250 miles long. It's always great how loud that is in the middle of a video. Get used to it, because it'll be happening every once in a while as well. So, but while we're on that, you can do the same thing for 13 and 14 and 15. Okay? So just make sure you set your proportions. We'll check those out tomorrow in class together, or today, depending on when you're watching the video. Consecutive integers. Hopefully you were shown how to do this. Consecutive integers is just saying if I have a number and then the next number and then the next number, how much do they equal? So for example, if I have 2 consecutive integers who equal 125, then I have x plus 1 that's equal to 125. Well, we know how to solve this. 2x plus 1 is equal to 125. 2x is equal to 124. X is equal to 62. But it says it wants to know the 2 numbers. Well, if x is equal to 62, the next number is 63. So there's my 2 answers. When it's even or odd, you can't go x plus 1, x plus 2. Even or odd, you have to do x plus 2, and x plus 4. And this equals negative 78. We count these all up. We get 3x plus 6 equals negative 78. 3x equals negative 84. Then we solve, and we get that x is equal to negative 28. But remember, we have to do the next two consecutive even. So I add 2 and I get negative 26. And I add 2 more and I get negative 24. And there's my 3 answers. And if you add them together, you should get negative 78. I want you to go ahead and do 3 and 4. 3 is like 1 and 4 is like 2. Verbal sentences. This is basically just some practice on writing a sentence. You guys know how to do this. It should be a big time review. So, if I'm going to do number 1, I'm going to say 2.5 less than a number n is greater than or equal to negative 5. Or I could say is at least negative 5. Go ahead and finish 2 through 7. And then for 8 through 16, you're actually writing the number sentence based on the sentence. A number decreased by 4. So n minus 4 is less than 14. So in the first 7, you're writing the sentence out. In the last 7, or how many you have here, you are writing out the numbers and the symbols. Let me know if you have any questions with any of the words, and I'll help you out with that. The last thing here is word problems. So just got a couple word problems. Just wanted to see if you can try them and see how you do. We'll go over them together at the end of class. But the last thing I want to talk about is what happens if I have an equation, for example, I equals PRT, and I tell you to solve for R. Well, everybody freaks out because they're like, I don't understand what you mean solve for R. Well, what would you do if I told you to solve this equation? You divide by 6, right? Because x is the variable. Well, if I tell you to solve for R, all you're doing is dividing by P and T. So you would divide by P and T. They cross out, and that's what you're left with. R is equal to I divided by PT. This is called literal equations. It's the same thing as what 12 equals 6x. It's just that instead of coming up with a number at the end, you're just going to still have the same letters. They're just going to be moved around. There are some opportunities to do this on your quiz and your test. I just want to see how you do with them. If you struggle, we'll come back and visit them later down the road. But I would just want to cover that real fast. Alright, so like I said, this is kind of the cleanup of part 1. Again, we're focusing on proportions. Then we're focusing on consecutive integers. If you have any questions or if you want to see a calculator trick, come see me, and I'll definitely help you out with that. Then we're working on writing numerical sentences and translating numerical sentences. Or translating a verbal sentence to a numerical sentence. And then we'll finish up with seeing how you do on some word problems, and then just kind of highlight this. Don't forget it, because it will come back around. Alright? That cleans up Unit 1. If you get done with all this, I do have one more review sheet that would help you out for the test. But make sure you study all of your notes and keep focused on what you need to be working on, because the test is tomorrow. It is the next class day that we have. Alright, thanks guys.